Okay then, in previous videos we discussed a theoretical part relating to the Amazon EC2, including AMI and instance types. In this video we will see them in practice. For that, let's go to our AWS Management Console. Right now I'm on that page. Then I have also signed into my account, into my admin account. Alright? So now let's go to EC2. For that, we need to go to services, and in here in compute category we have EC2. All right, so we can click on this one, which will take us to EC2. So this one is Amazon EC2 Dashboard, and it provides overall information about your virtual servers, like it's written in here: running instances, dedicated hosts, volumes, key pairs, etc. and etc. Don't worry if you don't understand them very well right now, because we'll cover them later on in detail. So if you wanna know more about instances, so under instances you have several links. So for instance, if you go to the first one, instances, it will take you to the page where you can find up and running instances. Currently, I don't have any up and running instances, so that's why it's not displaying anything. Then you can go to instance types if you wanna see available instance types, etc. and etc. So images, so this category is about AMIs. All right. So then you have Elastic Block Store. This one is about storage. Then network security. So you don't need to worry about this network security. Then load balancing and auto scaling. So we will discuss these topics in detail later on. For now, let's launch our first virtual server. For that, we have two options. So the first one is to go to these instances, and then here we have this launch instance button. We can just click on this one, launch instance, and then it will take us to the page from where we can start launching our instances. Alternatively, if we go to EC2 Dashboard, so this is a main page. So, and if we scroll down here, we have launch instance. So we can click on this one, and then it will take us exactly to the same page. All right. So these ones are Amazon Machine Images, or AMIs. All right. So the first thing here, you can see, first step, we need to select AMI. Then the second step is choose instance type, then configure instance, add storage, add tags, configure security group, and review. All right. So as you can see, it consists of seven steps. So here we have several tabs. So the first one, quick start. This one, quick start, gives you or provides you AMIs which are used commonly. All right. Or common AMIs. So while AWS Marketplace, this one is an online store where you can find paid AMIs. In other words, developers sell their AMIs in here in the AWS Marketplace. All right. So you can select any AMI in here as well. So now let's go back to quick start, because we don't want to pay for the AMI. We want a free one. And then even you can sort out or filter out with this tick button. So if you switch on this one, so it will only display free tier. All right, free tier AMIs. So now let's select our first AMI. It's gonna be Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8, right? And it includes only this Red Hat Enterprise Linux. But if you pay attention to the above one, so Amazon Linux AMI, it includes Amazon Linux, and as well as Python, Ruby, Perl, Java. All right. So that means this is good for developers. Let's say if you're a developer and if you have web application, for instance, using which you have developed using Python, then you can select this one and you don't need to install Python yourself. All right. So, but in our case, we can select this one, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So, and it's gonna be 64-bit. We are fine with that one. So select please this one, Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8. Then the next step, we need to choose an instance type. All right. And you already know that an instance type is a hardware of your virtual server. So here we have several instance types. So these are general purpose instances, and they have, for instance, this one, T2 Micro. It has one CPU, 1 GB of memory, and it supports this EBS storage. We don't worry about this one. And network performance is low to moderate, right? But if you want, let's say, not general purpose, but let's say if you want compute optimized, you can select from this option, you can select compute optimized, and then you can select the appropriate instance type. Let's say this one, for instance, it has 16 CPUs, 42 gigabytes of memory, etc., etc., and network performance is up to 25 gigabits. So we are not interested in this one because this one definitely will incur costs. So we want free one. That's why we need to go to the all instance types, and then we need to select this one. And this one is gonna be free because it's written in here, free tier eligible, all right? So if you select other ones, they will incur costs. That's why please do not select other ones except this one. Just select this. Then the next one, just click this. So now you have to configure instance. So here, for instance, we can configure number of instances. So we want one instance, but if we want 10, we can write in here 10, all right? So you can even read in here, you can launch multiple instances from the same AMI. So that means from that AMI, from what we have selected, it's gonna launch 10 virtual servers, which we don't want. Instead, we want one, all right? So then you have here purchasing option. Don't worry about this. And these are configurations relating to network. So VPC, we don't touch this one. Then here you have subnet, and here you can select availability zone. So we have 2 availability zones. By the way, currently I am launching this virtual server in Central Canada. That's why I have 2 availability zones. But if you select this one if you change this one to another, you might have more availability zones, all right? So then we have here auto assign public IP. We don't need this one, just select use subnet setting. Then we have here IAM role. We can select here IAM role, but we don't need that one. So if you attach IAM role, that means this virtual server will have IAM role attached, all right? So then we have shutdown behavior, so it's just stop is fine. So then if you scroll down again, so you have tenancy, which says shared, run a shared hardware instance. So this one relates to virtualization. So shared, run a shared hardware instance. That means so your virtual server will be running in a shared, or let's shared physical server, all right? So, or you can select dedicated instance. So select the first one, leave it as it is. So then what we need to do is we need to click on this one, next. Then here, this is about storage. So the size that we will get would be 10. It's fine, and it's gonna be root. That means this one will be attached to our virtual server. So that means our operating system will be running in this one, all right? But we can attach some other storage as well in here, but we don't need that one right now. So then we can click on this one, next. And then here we can add text, which is metadata. For now, we're not gonna do that one. Just click next. Then here we need to configure security group. All right. So this one, for instance, SSH. It says SSH, type SSH, protocol TCP, port range 22. So this one is for connecting to our virtual server. All right. So this is a port. So we will be connecting to our virtual server on port 22 using SSH. So don't worry about SSH because I'm going to explain this one in the next videos. For now, just understand then that this SSH is used for connecting to your virtual server, and port 22 for that will be used. All right. So then what we need to do is we need to click on this review and launch. And here we can review details about our virtual server, all right? So like instance type, security groups, so etc. and etc. So now click launch. So then it asks for whether we want to create a key pair or we want to use existing key pair. So this key pair would be used when we connect to our virtual server. So that means, so we will use this key pair instead of a password, because we will not get any password. So when connecting to our virtual server, so the system will ask for the key pair. So it's called key pair because it consists of two keys. One is public key and the other one is private key. Public key will be on the side of AWS, and the private key will be on our side. All right. So when we connect to our virtual server, we have to provide this private key. All right. So now what we need to do is we need to create a new key pair. So and then we will use that one to connect to our server. All right. So now key pair name. So we can write key pair name. So you can write whatever you like, but I'm gonna write my first instance, AWS instance, like this. All right. So then download key pair, and then you need to download it. So I'll download it on my desktop. So and don't share this one with anyone. All right. So then what you need to do is you need to launch this instance. So and then it starts launching your instance, and then click view instances, and then it will take you to this instances page where you can see whether your instances has launched or not. So here currently instance state is pending, so that means it's still launching. All right. So if you want to update or refresh this page, what you can do is you can go here and then refresh it. All right, like this. Now the state has changed into running. So that means our instance, or in other words our virtual server, is running in central, so Canada Central, in availability zone 1B. All right. So and if you scroll down further, you can see some description relating to your EC2. For instance, instance ID, and then instance state, which is running, then instance type. So it also has private DNS and private IPs, right? And in here you can find some other information like security groups and whether we have IAM role or no. In our case, we don't have IAM role, and we can see a launch time, etc. and etc. All right. So now what if we want to stop or delete this virtual server? All right. So because if you are not using this virtual server, what you need to do is you need to stop it, or if you don't need this server at all, then you can terminate it, or in other words delete it. So for that, what you need to do is you right click or you go to actions. So you can go to actions and then instance state. All right. So if you want to stop it, so you click on this one, stop, and then your instance will be stopped. Or if you want to reboot it, so it's gonna restart it. If you want to get rid of this one, so that means if you want to delete this virtual server, you need to go to this one, terminate, and then it will terminate your virtual server, and then this will be removed. So for now, let's stop it. If you are not using, please stop it, because you have a limitation, so which is 750 hours. So if you don't want to waste your limitation or your hours, just if you are not using, just stop your instances. All right. So now, as you can see, instance state has stopped. So that's it for this video, and I will see you in the next one.